welcome back to another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. This week's episode is entitled... Oh, goddamn Daryl. You have full access to my early release.
Wow. Kyle,
Lucky
exclusive. Oh my goodness.
Get here for the first time.
How could you? Okay. It's time. It's time to take a dive into the developmental landscape and the release structure of games. There has been a rise in both releasing games as a beta, giving gamers a chance to dive into the game before it's fully completed, as well as games that have been delayed months and months and months, or multiple times due to a multitude of reasons before coming out as a completed project. So what's better? Does it depend on the game or the genre? Does it matter if the game's great? What are the consequences if it's terrible? These are some important questions that we at Good Enough Gaming have, and we're going to talk about today. So crack a cold one, because it's about to get heated in this conversation.
Let's go.
Gotta keep it classy up with this bitch.
Yeah. Your
Don't need to crack
lukewarm
one,
grape
classy.
drink.
Not lukewarm.
And my Canada Dry.
It's wine. It's wine.
It's lukewarm drink. So, guys, this has been a topic of discussion, and we've seen it time and time again, especially recently with some of these releases, most notably with the inevitable delay announcement for, that everyone was holding their breath for, which was GTA 6.
Yeah.
And this is what sort of sparked it all, was looking at, should studios delay games until they're absolutely ready to ship, or should they release them in like early access, also known as like beta form, for people to spend money on and play an unfinished product? Most notably, most recently, Path of Exile 2.
Yeah. That was my kind of primary example.
Yeah. So it's kind of a slippery slope, I think.
I think if it's going to make this this conversation interesting, there's pros and cons to both.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think before anything else, I think we need to start by maybe identifying some of the like early release like content or games that have come out, how we feel about them, how we feel like if the early release was beneficial or a detriment to the game as a whole. We can talk about some delayed finished products after that. We can look at, another wonderful segment of the treasure trove, which I'm sure Jordan has thoughts.
Always do.
And then we can bicker about what we like better.
There we go.
I don't often lay out a plan, but
Before we get too into it,
Wait,
just shout out.
Who laid out the plan, though?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's be honest.
Kyle doesn't often
Let's
read the
let's just take a second here.
Yeah. It's not often Kyle finishes reading the script, but when he does,
Shout out to our Discord as well. Early access, that's been a topic that people in our Discord have wanted us to do an episode on for a while. So shout out to anybody who's listening and in our Discord, and
Thank
for those
you,
that aren't in
listeners.
there,
yeah,
fucking join. Get in there.
the fireside chat is always bumping.
We do listen to what you say to us. We do take that into consideration all the time. So give us more things to talk about. Give us some suggestions. We're here for it.
Do you want us to fight about stuff? Because we will fight about stuff.
Yep.
We like that. Yeah.
So we're going to start with Path of Exile 2 because it is quite notable, and it is early access.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to get early access,
You had to buy it.
this is a free to play game on release.
Yeah.
But to get early access, you pay $30, you get $30 worth of game
In-game
currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodies.
To apply to your account or whatever, and then you get access to the game. Initially,
sort of fair.
Yeah, I get it. I'm fine with supporting developers. Given
I am too when it's a full game.
So Path of Exile 2 only initially released with 5 playable characters and 3 out of the 6 acts playable.
Correct.
On top of this, there is some difficulty scaling that they are using the early access to fine tune. They've released an additional character in the Huntress in the past few months. So now we're up to 6 playable characters.
Yeah. And they've laid out the mapping for, I think that they've kind of revealed
Their roadmap.
most of the rest of them. Like they didn't have them even announced before. So they've got them actually laid out now. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's maybe only one mystery one left, but for the most part, they've all laid them out as to kind of like what they are and what they kind of do.
Gotcha.
Now this one it's tricky for me because Trevor and I like enjoy Path of Exile a bit more. We enjoy the looter Diablo style game a bit more, and we're impatient as shit. I had to try it.
That's the ticket, Kyle. That last comment.
It's the most honest thing he said all podcast so far.
Oh, fuck off.
We give it a go.
There is like in today's day and age, we live in an instant gratification era. You order shit on Amazon, shows up the next day.
Yeah.
Everybody wants stuff now. With
gimme.
With digital downloads, you don't even have to go to the store for a midnight release. Just boop, sit on my couch, let it download.
I kind of missed the midnight release.
Bring back midnight releases, man.
Such a
Nothing
community
like
thing.
it.
I missed that a lot.
I did enjoy, I do have to say though, I did enjoy with Path of Exile. Yeah, you're going to get the streamers and you're going to get people who are like, we're going to do build guides and shit. And I'm just like, the game's not done.
No.
Yeah.
And it was in such it's one of those games where it's kind of in that like innocent place where you could make mistakes, do whatever you wanted. And you're like, well, it's not serious. Like I can't play the whole game. This isn't really the end game. It's all going to change anyways. So you just got to like enjoy it and like learn the systems, which for someone like I never really got into Path of Exile 1. I kind of missed it. So this one had so much complexity.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, now I kind of have an understanding. So when the game does come out full or when they release more of it and I go back to it, because I'm not currently, grinding 3 acts of Path of Exile. Like I'll have a better idea of what I need to do to get through the game and like enjoy it more thoroughly. But in contrast to that, I actually think, although I don't know why it got delayed, I do think GTA could have done without the delay. I think GTA could have released their story mode because typically Grand Theft Auto games will have a story mode. So unless that part is broken, I would have told them, get the story mode done and worry about GTA online after. Like if it's not fully complete, it's fine. You have a game, you previously supported your last game with what, a 10, 15 year ecosystem of online content.
Well, in fairness,
I don't see why you don't get this game into people's hands just to get them.
In fairness, they haven't even mentioned. I mean, we all know it's coming, but no, there's been no mention of a GTA Online like 2.0 for GTA 6. Okay. So it's like really they've delayed the story mode.
But
because that's all that's there currently right now.
Okay. But they are still making money hand over fist in GTA Online.
Which is probably why they don't feel bad.
Yeah. What's the pressure?
There's no rush.
I'm not in a time crunch here when I'm still making bank off of our last game.
Still making billions of dollars.
But to go back to the Path of the Exile 2, I think we can all agree as far as early access goes. I feel like that's the exception to the rule. Like to me, Path of Exile 2 is kind of what an early access title should be most of the time. But I would argue the majority of early access titles are the complete opposite of what that game offers.
I was going to bring that up too, that like a lot of the time, these early access titles are just like viral streamer bait.
Well, not even that. There's some that just like, it's just like a lack of commitment. Like you've got games, I think Tarkov is still technically in early access or in
which has been out forever.
It's not full release.
Yeah.
I had to pull this up. So the one I think that made this most famous was Star Citizen.
Yeah.
So you can play in space. You can buy spaceships with real money. People lose all of their money. And I have to look this up on Wikipedia. This game came out in 2017. It is still in early access.
Yeah.
As of today, they have reached over $800 million in sales.
What?
For online transactions.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
It does. And it's just like, at what point?
Like, hey, we're never going to finish it.
Like, is this some sort of like,
we met the mark?
Is there some sort of like tax bracket incentive to say that like the game is out or not?
Yeah,
like at some point,
access,
are we just, or does it just roll over and everyone's just kind of like, yeah, I guess it's out now. Right.
Or
Like where's the line?
Is this their way of like, we don't want to call our game a live service game because that has such a taboo nowadays. So we're just going to have it in perpetual early access forever because that's our
until we release Star Citizenship. And that is when it's finally done.
Once you've earned your citizenship. Yeah. It's going to cost about $5 million.
Yeah.
It's the VIP version.
There's no secret. There's no secret that I think we all have issues with early access. I think I'd take it one step further and maybe Daryl and I have more issues with early access.
I would say you and I definitely have more than Kyle and Trevor.
But
I don't play a lot of early access.
Yeah.
I mean, as a general idea, like an approach.
I would, that's the thing. I was more open to Path of Exile because it is a game that they support and they've proven that. Whereas like in previous games, It's like, yeah, I'll jump on like a Diablo beta test weekend where they're, the first time in 50 years, Blizzard's like, hey, do we want the servers to not crash on day one? We think more than 5 people are going to play this game? And they're like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like I'm down for that, right? If I sign up early, not that I've paid any money, but signed up early and I'm like, oh, I'll jump on, give it a shot, kind of as a tester, help them figure out their servers so that when you do get the game, it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, it's like, I can't think of the last thing I bought early access. I mean, I'm now at the point, we're getting to the economical point where I'm like, fuck pre-orders. Like,
yeah. See, so that's the key here for me is like, let's forget the term early access. This shit is a beta. Betas have been around since the dawn of time. That's what an early access title is. It's a beta. And for me, one of the largest issues I have in kind of the overall ecosystem of early access is I don't feel like I should have to pay for a beta. I feel like if you're trying to test servers or if you're trying to test core gameplay features that you want to see, should we keep these in the game? Should we take them out of the game? Like that's all well and good. And obviously you want to have a larger sample size than just like your play testers in your own studio. You want kind of a more unbiased opinion. But don't make me pay for it at that point then. Even if you only gave me like one act of the game or like chapter 1 through 3 or, give me a condensed.
Yeah. It's kind of like a demo.
Yeah.
In many cases is like almost a better approach. What are there in your research? Was there any other games recently that were sort of early access based? Blinded by the white.
Yeah. Blinded by the Google
loading screen.
I think the other one that was really big was PUBG. I know they started in early access and for a very long time. And I can't remember how much. I never really played that game. I can't remember how much of that like was real money. The other ones I've got in here, Phasmophobia, same thing. Yeah. Like they kind of did early access because I know they were trying to move into VR and they did stuff.
Arc,
Power World, Arc was the other one.
Yeah, I remember Power World was a good example. Yeah,
one of the most recent ones, again, like viral streamer bait, is Schedule 1.
Okay.
Oh, that's still an early access.
That is still an early access title.
Okay, so there you go.
So we
have several,
and it costs money.
yes.
It's one of those crappy not low pixel.
Oh, yeah. I got you.
And you're selling drugs. So think like Lethal Company, but you're on the street selling drugs, or like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot that are still.
I got another one written down, and I think Kyle, you and I have talked about this game, and this is one that I have a lot of issues with, just the way they've handled it, is No Rest for the Wicked.
Yes, I was just looking at that one too.
So for anybody that doesn't know what this game is, it was made by the Ori and the Blind Forest devs that were originally part of like the Microsoft Xbox studios. And it's essentially a top-down isometric, like a Diablo type. But the combat in the gameplay is like a Souls game. So it's dodging and like melee attacking. But it's like a watercolor, almost like a painted art style. Like it's a beautiful looking game. It's been out for over a year, still in early access, and regular price. I think that game is $60.
52. I'm looking at it right now.
$52.
$52 for an early access game.
Oh, that's wild.
It's on sale right now for like $36.
How has a game been out for so long that it can be paid for early access, and it's been out for long enough that it can be on sale
as early access?
Like that to me is insulting.
Yeah. We can talk about that. Great. That's for the end. Let's focus here.
Sorry.
Remember who I just
wanted to get that game on the list.
I do know who I'm talking to.
I do have another one where, like, okay, let me pose this question. Can you think of any early access or betas that served to dissuade people from playing their game? I have one in my head right now. People got early access to it. So like a free beta weekend, people played it and were like, what the fuck is this?
Oh,
this one's near and dear to me.
The pirate one.
Yeah, you're right. Skull and Bones.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, Skull and Bones by Ubisoft. They had a free beta weekend. Again, free. Everyone got to try it, and everyone went, what the fuck is this?
This is terrible.
I've never been so
Take it back.
thankful.
I don't want it. I want my money back, even though it was free. Give it back.
Yeah. Even free, I don't want it.
I've never been so thankful for a beta weekend ever. Because usually I'll be like, all right, I know I'm going to pick this game up. Let's just play it for a bit to try it out.
Imagine if you paid $50 for that.
I would have been livid. I would have been livid that it makes me angry thinking about it still.
Lots of good examples here. Lots of good games. Okay. Now, what about games that have released fully, but have taken a little bit longer than anticipated?
Skull and Bones.
It's both categories.
Yeah.
It does, but like...
Anything notable, Jordan? Anything you can think of off the top of your head that's like...
I mean, to be honest with you, I like, if I play a game that comes out incomplete, my first reaction isn't, I wish this was early access so they could iron out the kinks. Like, the way I think of it is just fucking delay the game for another 6 months and keep working on it. You know,
now, are we talking about a game that's gotten delayed and actually been released, or a game that got delayed and then never saw the light of day?
Oh,
because I had to look this up and
some
immediately
canceled ones.
Well, the first one that's on this list is StarCraft Ghost. Oh. And I know that's going to just kill Jordan because that game was like announced, it was hyped up, and then it just never happened.
The poor man.
Jordan, what's that one? What's the one that PlayStation keeps fucking talking about that doesn't come out?
It's in my It's in my title on my screen. Where is Little Devil Inside, you fuckers? Yeah, that game was announced on one of the very first state of plays for the PS5 at launch, and it disappeared for like 3.5 years. Everybody thought the studio went bankrupt. They came out last year and basically said like, no, we're still here. It almost sounds like there was a company coup, like internally. and they had to like
So we had
clean
a revolt.
house. Yeah, it's like had
It's
to
a small
clean
little
house
mutiny,
and
no
almost
big deal.
restart. So
Oh my God.
apparently the game is still coming out, but nobody has. And
Nobody wanted to go to Genosha. I don't know.
This is our next Skull and Bones game. Hey,
yeah, it's getting to that
development
point.
hell.
Yeah.
Wasn't Forspoken delayed for a while, or am I thinking of something else?
It was. I
Yeah,
think it was
I
delayed
think so.
a short
Period of time. Yeah.
That and that's one of those games, where same thing. It got delayed, and that was one of those reasons where you're getting GTA 6 and you're getting these big name games that are now delaying because they're seeing that like here is a major
Taking the
title
time.
that was clearly not developed enough and it flopped hard.
Yeah.
And the amount of advertising and shit that Sony put into that game, like Forspoken, crashed and burned. Same thing with Concord.
Yeah.
Like just as equally. Like I don't know if that game technically got delayed or not, but it was like, here's all of the eggs in one basket situation. Like we've put so much time and money into this, and then it's just the saddest like trombone.
It didn't get delayed. It just got absolutely flayed. Like it just
got destroyed.
Like,
I mean, Cyberpunk
that's-
was like the pinnacle. You know,
Yes.
Cyberpunk was the hundreds of millions of dollars of marketing and everything else just to come out and be a fucking
Janked.
dud.
Oh,
like
And
I do got to say though,
it has redeemed itself.
Yes, that's one of the few.
Oh, No Man's Sky. That's another one.
yeah.
That was going to say that was another game that where they're like they promised the world.
Yeah.
And it came out. And you're
Several
like,
worlds, in fact.
I see where you're going, but it's not quite
Nice.
working.
Thanks.
But I do appreciate that they actually continue to support that game even now, right? And same with Cyberpunk.
It's
like I think they're
one
still
of the
making
best
sure it's
comeback
working
stories.
properly.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian.
I was gonna say.
Thank you, Daryl. But I guess so I guess that's an interesting topic is some of those games that we just mentioned are single player only titles or they're geared around single player. So it's like, would you rather like a AAA single title game come out as an early access, or for them to just be like, hey, sorry, we've had to push it back 4 to 5 months, keep developing things.
This is where we're at, right? Like that's what I'm saying early on. Like there's going to be pros and cons to this when we kind of iron these things out. And I think there's always going to be like differing opinions on like what should be in the forefront for the consumer or like how to approach this certain genre of game. I think also like another example, Rebirth, Final Fantasy Rebirth was also delayed. Like
that makes sense. But it worked.
Yes, it was when it came out, it was fully functional and it was a complete game.
For a story game, for a single player story game, I think they're starting to see that now. Is like, this has to work. We can't update this 6 months from now because it's already it's
gone.
Off the media wagon.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit. Stuff like that. Whereas like a game, you think of Warzone. Warzone wasn't perfect when it came out. It got a bit better. They fixed some stuff, right? It's like it's a growing ecosystem of a game. There's balances. There's things that they change based on how people play the game. Yep. Then they just continued to update it in the worst way possible and proceeded to like kill their own game.
Destroyed all of it.
But it's no different than say if like sort of like PUBG, if Fortnite had come out in early access, the way that they have continued to update and kind of evolve that game, you probably wouldn't notice as much. If at some point they're like, yeah, it's full release, by the way, no one cares anymore. Right. Probably same with like Star Citizen. You're like, yeah, guys, you can just say it's
out.
You're still allowed to do patches. You're still allowed to fix it. It doesn't have to be. You're not like shipping N64 cartridges where you can't update them. Like we have the internet now, guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't even have to hang up the phone to use it either. We can do update.
No dial-up tones.
Chunk.
Yeah, like honestly, Trev, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, like with Fortnite and PUBG and Warzone. Like to me, the evolution of early access is live service games, and there's already a lot of live service games that use early access in the beginning. But to me, that's where a live service game should live, especially when it first comes out, because those games change so much 6 months to a year after launch, based on player feedback and even just the player base and how many people are on. Whereas, like, to me, in my opinion, I think single player story games or like more narrative driven, even if it's a co-op game, to me, I think it's a cop out to put those in early access, because you're
100%.
essentially saying, either we don't believe in our game enough to give you a 1.0 release and to launch it in a good state, or for maybe for some of these smaller devs, we're running out of money and we need an influx of revenue to kind of keep this thing going. So,
or for the bigger devs, hey, we need some more money so that, guy up in the corner office is happy with the green number instead of the red number. Yeah. Right.
Okay. So hypothetical, we're talking about single player versus, live service multiplayer type game. Imagine the outrage if like Ghost of Tsushima or Uncharted or Last of Us released
partially broken in early access.
Yes. Early access.
I mean, yeah,
like unacceptable.
If we were considering in that aspect early access to be unfinished and like not totally playable, like we're talking like 90%, but it's clearly missing some things.
Yeah,
I don't think those games get as far.
You can only play up to the death of the horse.
We're gonna traumatize you and then not be able to play it for 6 more months.
All of the games.
I'm not coming back to play this game. What the fuck was that?
I'm gonna put down Ghost of Tsushima and I'm gonna go play The Last of Us up until the horse dies, and then
I think honestly, the only way games at that caliber would even work in early access is, like I said earlier, it would have to be like chapter 1 or the tutorial of the game, and that's it, and it's free. It's a glorified demo, it's a glorified beta, whatever you want to call it, but it's completely free to play. And even when you beat the fucking tutorial, a survey comes up and you have answer some questions to help the dev. Like, to me, I would much rather that instead of like, if I had to pay $50 for an Uncharted to get half the game in early access, I'd be fucking pissed. That'd be dumb.
And to your point, if I played a tutorial and it was fucking awesome, and the end credits of that tutorial was early, order now, pre-ordered if you loved it. Now that you know kind of what you're getting, feel free to send us some money. Yeah. Right? That to me is much different. More morally correct, right? Yes. Because now you're like, okay, I get what I'm getting into. I'm here for it. That's still questionable, but better.
Yep.
That's what I appreciated about the new Final Fantasy VII franchises. I was really, really hesitant on the new combat, like when they did the remake. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to, like, you're ruining my, one of my favorite games ever by not following true to like the old play style. And so I got to sort of prepare, prepare mentally for it by just playing the original demo.
Yeah.
And kind of get a taste and then go, okay, like I'll play it. Like,
still works.
I get it.
It feels good.
Looks good. Still plays good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of free,
isn't free.
I have a completely free segment that is prepared for everyone today. And that's
this whole podcast is free. I don't know if you know that.
I mean, you can send us money if you want. We'd appreciate it.
You want to sponsor our episodes?
Hey.
We won't say no to that.
So this week is our completely copyright free.
New and improved.
Yeah. No copyright strikes. Treasure trove. Jordan.
The treasure trove.
All right. So we got a treasure trove segment this week for anybody that hasn't listened to our podcast before. Basically, I've been known to play anything and everything. And I decided to turn it into a little bit of a segment. So I try and pick games that don't necessarily get a lot of love in marketing, or, maybe they don't hit the viral cycle on social media. But regardless, they are fun and maybe worth your time checking out. So with this week's episode being on the topic of early access, I decided to keep it on theme. And I'm going to talk about Towerborn.
I haven't played it yet.
So for anybody that hasn't heard of Towerborn before, it's actually on Game Pass on console and PC. Which is great. So you've got a free entry to get in and test it out. But it's made by Stoic Studio, which for Daryl and Trevor, they made the Banner Saga games.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So it's a very big departure from those games. This is essentially like a fantasy themed Streets of Rage beat 'em up. So,
what?
Yeah, it's
why are we not playing this right
I was like, well, this sounds awesome.
Podcast over. Let's go play.
Yeah. It's a fantasy themed game. There actually is like a pretty cool narrative story component to it. The world goes to shit and everybody flees to this tower, and it's a massive tower, and then they build a city along the pillar of it all the way up. And it's most of the missions are like 3 to 6 minutes long. Like they don't take very long most of the time. Sweet. So it's an easy game to kind of jump in.
Right up Kyle's alley.
Yeah. I would say visual wise, it's kind of like Tribes of Midgard, like kind of artistic, but not super high res detail, if that makes sense. Yeah. They've got a bunch of different weapon types. You can do sword and shield. You can do rogue daggers. You can do two-handed big swords. There's like gauntlet fist weapons.
It looks pretty sick.
Yeah. So
you had me at giant swords.
Yes. I think it is co-op. I don't know if it's 3-player or 4-player co-op. But essentially after every mission, you go back to the tower to hand in quests, build up your gear. It's got a ton of gear. Almost Borderlands-esque, where it's like after every mission,
you just keep saying
I keep saying all the words, all the buzzwords. I've played for a couple hours. Every mission, I've gotten at least one new piece of gear that's better than what I was using. I think the central hub is what's going to change the most, and that's why it's in early access right now. And it is very social. Like as soon as you get to the tower, into the social hub, you see everybody, the real world players, running around doing their own things. When you can see their name tags on top. So it's easy if you go in as a solo player. You can. Is it 4-player, T?
It is 4-player co-op. Pod game.
So
pod game.
Yeah. Definitely.
I smell something going down on the weekend.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Like I said, I've played a couple hours of it. There's a few things. The menus are a bit rough right now, and there's some issues there. Which again, early access. I'm sure they'll change those things. But I think the core gameplay, jumping in with friends for a couple hours, like it's perfect for that. It definitely hits that really nice, really well. So. Yeah, Towerborn. Check it out.
Sweet.
That is on the list. I'm pretty sure I actually have it downloaded already on my PC.
Sick.
Just
ready to go.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance because expeditions.
Yeah, it was.
We continue.
We continue.
We continue.
All right.
Except for me and Jordan, because we finished.
Correct.
Fucking rub it in, why don't you? God damn it.
Don't rub it out.
We already got Kyle's early release. We don't.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
To bring it back, Daryl, what do we like better? Do we appreciate the early access? Do we like delays? I mean, nobody likes delays, but
No.
What do we prefer in the matter?
Well, Jordan already got ahead of this. He's just too ready for this. He's too on fire.
Eager. Yeah.
He's too on point. But I think what he said earlier is kind of the major sentiment is that I think it depends on the game and the style. So
Yes.
early access
And the
works for games that are like a live
Intended
game
to be-
model.
yeah.
That are massive multiplayer like functionality, like battle royale kind of like situations where you're gonna have to make adjustments. To Trevor's point, you're gonna have to make like you know patches to dumb some things down or make some things like stronger or better or more viable. You're gonna have constantly changing dynamics of power. Yeah, and so those games I think lean well as early access because the streaming community, which is ever growing, and sort of like Twitch and Kick and all that stuff, those people playing those games and showing what part is broken almost keeps you accountable to go and fix it immediately. If you want to have any chance of making any sort of recovery, which
Unless
is crazy.
you're Blizzard Activision and you just ignore everybody.
Yeah, you don't listen to anybody.
We already made billions. We don't need you.
Yeah. Thanks for
Hackers
your
in
money, you
Warzone?
you idiots.
Yeah, hackers in Warzone. Here's some more fucking stoner skins.
Here's Seth
Yeah.
Rogen. As
Yeah, it's Daryl's right, and honestly, in the last couple of years, there's been some developers and I know we've all appreciated this very much. More developers have shadow dropped games because rather than
Love that. Love
Like,
it.
rather
Honestly,
than
such a
announcing
huge
something-
fan. Don't give
Yeah.
me a date. Don't let me down.
no,
Don't even give me false hope. Just say it's coming.
Elder
And
Scrolls,
just drop it
Oblivion.
one day.
Here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was amazing.
Yeah. And that gives the developers so much more leeway if you want to delay it internally a couple months. That's cool because nobody fucking knew. when
Nobody
it was
has
coming
any
out
idea.
anyway.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't.
Expectations have never been lower.
Yeah. From a marketing standpoint, you're not hurting your reputation in any way. And then the gamers out there are still going to be hyped because you're just going to show a trailer and then you're going to be like, this game comes out in 3 weeks. And it's like, whoa.
Oh,
Or it comes
shit.
out, or if you want that immediate, that immediate buzz is like, it comes out as soon as this announcement is done. And you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, I could all the dopamine hit right now. Right? But like, it's so funny. 'cause
Instant gratification.
we talk about this, like the funniest example is entirely Bethesda. You have
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls
Of
Oblivion.
all places.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion that just got dropped. Like, yeah, there were some rumors and they might be working on it. And everyone knew before they announced it what it was.
Yeah.
But it's still, they were like, hey, we're announcing it. This looks incredible. Also, go play it right now. And it's on Game Pass free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Versus Bethesda Elder Scrolls 6, where they're like, we're going to do a drone flyover cinematic for 5 seconds at like whatever it was, Game Expo, like E3, when that still
Yeah.
existed.
When that was.
And now it's been 5 years and everyone's like,
No.
so how about
So
that Elder Scrolls 6? Any news? Like anybody want to say anything? And they've said nothing about it.
No.
Right. And so it's just like, why even show us that and get people all hyped up for something that you're like, yeah, like the intern did us a little cinematic, but we haven't even started on it.
Yeah, we haven't even
So-
built the game at that point.
Yeah. Like what's
to,
the fucking
to like
point?
Kyle's earlier point, is this because of the shareholder bullshit? Like, is this because like you have to attach some sort of like finish line so that those
Yeah.
people are gonna be like, oh, okay, we'll give you the money. This is like, but can it just be private for them? You know what I mean? Like, that's my biggest gripe is like, okay, I'm sure that they know when the proposed date of release is going to be, and you can get in heat from your investors if it's not done in time or like whatever.
Yeah.
But
I think what's happened is we've reached the perfect crossroads where a lot of companies got away with it for so long.
Oh yeah.
And now people are getting to a point where it's like, we have so many choices and there's so many great games coming out, even from these indie devs, right? Like we've talked about Expedition 33 and like some of these other like triple indies, as we call them. And now we're getting to a point where people are like, do not pre-order, do not buy this. Like, this is garbage. You know, you get your Forspokens, your Concords. It's like, I don't care how much money you pumped into this. It is bad.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You put it in this little bubble and no one critiqued it. And then you were like, this is perfect. And everyone's like, this fucking sucks.
This sucks.
Yeah.
Like
this is
hard,
awful.
guys. Like, did you guys not show this to anybody?
Like if Kyle didn't have that beta weekend for Skull and Bones,
He would have
that would have been
$50.
a
Such a
terrible waste of money for him.
The other great example, podcast example that Daryl dodged the bullet on was Godfall.
Yeah.
That was a release game for the PS5 and they kind of hyped it and they showed enough to be like, that looks really nice on this new system.
Yeah.
And then we went and played and we're like,
and I had FOMO for like 2 days.
Like PlayStation got absolutely like rolled over the coals on Forspoken and Concord for months. People just dumped on PlayStation. Godfall, I think it was their first little trickle. It kind of just fizzled into nothingness because it was so hard to get a PS5 and people didn't care.
Yeah.
But like if Godfall came out now, they would get fucking just
roasted,
just totally roasted on the internet.
Now,
be like, it looks good. What is this shit? Like,
what do you guys think? So, like, Daryl, you brought up the investors thing, and
it's all money.
That kind of got my brain going with early access. Do you think part of the, I guess, the strategy behind early access titles is the hitting the viral component to social media multiple times in a cycle, right? Because like now it gives your game the opportunity to, now you're going to be the topic of conversation at launch. Now when in early access, you're going to be able to hopefully get viral with streamers playing it and all that shit. And then when the version 1.0, like the full release comes out, well, you get to have it all over again. You know, it's like a do-over from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think cash flow to then.
I think it works for certain games, but not for others. Like I think it works in some things, and we gave the gold standard to Path of Exile, which, like your guys' points were like, it has a lot of content for early access for a beta game. It has like half of their content included.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at that, I'm not going into that because it's, for me, that's almost too much for like a game like that where if you're going to release that much, why wouldn't you just go all the way? You know, like in practicality to me, it's like give to Jordan's just one chapter is enough. That gets everyone hooked into your game. It gives a good enough taste. It lets you play around with a few things. Then you like unveil the whole thing with your new menu, your new like scaling, your like whatever, all those facets that you've had time to kind of comb through.
The biggest thing Jordan said, especially with Path of Exile, is it got, and I think the same thing. This either works for a full cycle game or a sequel. Because now you have all these fans from Path of Exile 1 coming into number 2. They rush through the game. They just absolutely blast through the game. And since then, like with these new characters coming out, they've also had huge updates to Endgame. Because what they're doing is they are playtesting and they're giving feedback and they're saying, hey guys, like this sucks. This doesn't work. Whereas like essentially what you're getting with the competitor of this, of Diablo 4, is they're like, okay, we're going to have to try something new in the next season because everyone hated this feature.
Yeah.
Whereas Path of Exile, they're kind of like, okay, this isn't working. they're trying to build the
Also,
ecosystem.
Blizzard, if you're
and-
listening to this,
yeah.
go back to your old season thinking this new Reliquaries thing is absolutely horseshit. It's garbage. It's terrible.
I do recall Daryl also being like, "Oh, trying the new season. It's not so bad."
Yeah,
We're like, "Are you sure, buddy? We've heard some things."
The
it is
Reliquaries thing is bad. The boss powers is fun, but oh my god,
The rest of it is ass.
collecting the season pass stuff is a fucking joke.
So on the same note, do you remember when Diablo 3 was in its infancy? And
Yeah, it was bad.
so bad.
But they also released a beta where you could play the first act and fight.
So, see, that's what I mean. Like,
you would
That's
end
how
up
it should
fighting the Skeleton King, and people just played that for like months and months on end. And like,
well, it's no different than Path of Exile
I
now.
know.
Like, it's just like it's the same thing. People are like gravitate and hold on to these things.
Addicted people are addicted. You can't change it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much.
But you still release Diablo 3 with the real money auction house and like all these like chaotic problems
I forgot
terrible
about that.
ideas. Yeah.
and some horrible ideas.
I
But
feel like I made money on that at one point.
I think you did. But yeah, so that's where I think the kind of the final summary is like single player important story game.
No early access.
I don't want
Delay it.
early access on
No.
it. I don't want spoilers.
Delay it.
I don't
Finish
want to
it.
see anything. Finish it
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah, just release it when it's ready.
Small, if anything, like small 1 hour to 2 hour demo.
Yeah.
Bring back
That's-
demos. Like
Yeah,
we
bring
have
back
the internet.
demos,
Yeah.
The
100%.
PS Store has gotten better at showing them and
Yes,
actually,
they
like,
honestly
advertising
have.
them.
They've gotten a way better.
I think games have gotten better because they're like, hey, there's so many. We need to like this is advertising. We need to do free demos. Like
Yeah.
bring
I
back
don't-
more of those.
I don't want to pay for, like Daryl said, half a game. Like I don't want to pay
No,
for something that's unfinished because there's certain games out there on Steam. I mean, fuck, if you look at early access games and just scroll through Steam, like Star Citizen, there's some that have been in early access for 2 years, and the last
Crazy.
update they had was 8 months ago. And so it's like
too
if I threw $40 on this and I haven't seen any new content in almost a year, I feel like I just lit that money on fire in a trash can. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at is like, give me the first chapter, give me the first act. I don't give a shit if you call it early access or you want to call it a demo, but make it free for me to try. If I have to fill out a survey in order for me to have access to download it, I'm good with that. Let me have a little legwork to not pay the money. I'm cool, but yeah, stop with the $40, $50, $60.
Yeah,
And,
insult.
I think the best example of that,
the
Jordan, was
cosmetic shit.
Kazan.
Fuck that.
Was it Kazan, the first Berserker? Was it Kazan?
Yeah, that had a great demo.
Yeah, and I think
Great
you,
demo.
me, and I think Daryl might have played it too. And it was the same thing. Free demo. Give it a
Free.
shot, and you're like, I'm in for this. Like,
Yep.
maybe not right now because I'm playing other stuff, but I'm definitely buying this game.
exactly. Like, but that's the thing. It's a taste isn't so bad, but give me the full game when it's ready.
That's how it should
I
be.
think that really just like sums it up. Like first players, delay it, make it a finished product.
Yeah.
If it's going to be some like live service, multiplayer, MMO, battle royale, can I throw more buzzwords? Sure, release it, make it free. Don't
Yeah,
and,
it should
you know,
it should be free to play anyway.
Should be
Collect-
$50, Conk.
collect.
But I just feel like
transaction bullshit.
everything like that should just have a constant disclaimer for
Yes.
like for in its infancy. That's just being like, this is a game in progress. Like, please give your
Yeah.
feedback or like whatever. Like, this is a game in progress. This is not the final product. Like, it needs to be glowingly obvious that that's the case, so that it has a chance to recover.
I will say that Steam does do a good job of that. If you go to the games page on Steam and scroll down right above where like the pay button would be, in bright blue, they do have this game is in early access. And then they've got like a paragraph explaining what early access is. So Steam does a great job of that. But on console,
I want it on the game at the load up page. Like I want it at the start page of every game. That's what I'm talking about. Like if it's not done,
Tell me.
When I go log into the new Warzone, I want a big fucking bold thing at the bottom that says, this is a game in progress. Like if it's not done, like you just make sure everybody knows that, so that it's not taken, without that grain of salt that it needs to be taken in that level of its infancy.
Yeah.
I think we nailed it.
I agree. Yep.
Agreed. Gavel.
Court is adjourned.
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to agree on this entirely, but
no,
when you make this much sense, it's kind of hard, logic and reasoning, just like kind of
being an adult.
They just take over.
We're not wrong very often, I have to say.
And you come together and come to like a group decision
consensus.
That is, riddled with fact and trial and error.
we came experience.
With yeah, we've all been burnt once or twice.
We do game with receipts.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that about sums it up, guys. I think we got to the bottom.
Are we right?
problem.
Are we wrong? I doubt we're wrong,
yeah,
Bob.
We're not wrong.
We're not.
Do you love early access?
Do you want to pay more for unfinished products?
Do you want to pay more for less?
Are you more impatient than Kyle and just want the game immediately, no matter what it looks like?
All right, I got to wrap this up before you just rail against me for another while.
It's so easy.
I know. So, I think that wraps it up, guys. I would say it's good enough.
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough.
It's good. You know what? Better than good. Good enough.
Good enough. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.